Here's a quick but fun fact. In 1823, U.S. President James Monroe delivered his annual message to Congress in which he articulated a foreign policy stance that would significantly influence international relations in the Americas. This policy, known as the Monroe Doctrine, declared that the United States would consider any attempt by European powers to colonize or interfere in the affairs of nations in the Western Hemisphere as a direct threat to its own peace and security. Essentially, the Monroe Doctrine asserted that the American continents were not open to further European colonization and that the political systems of the Americas were distinct and separate from those of Europe. This stance was driven by the desire to protect the newly independent Latin American nations from European intervention, as these countries had recently gained independence from Spanish and Portuguese colonial rule. The doctrine also reflected the United States' growing confidence and its emerging role as a dominant power in the Western Hemisphere. It was not just about safeguarding Latin American nations, but also about asserting U.S. influence over the region. The Monroe Doctrine had significant implications. It acted as a deterrent against European intervention in the Americas, thereby aiding in the protection of the new Latin American republics. However, it also established a framework for American hegemony in the region. Over time, the doctrine became a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy, influencing various interventions and expansions in Latin America. The interpretation and application of the Monroe Doctrine have evolved, leading to diverse U.S. policies in the region throughout history. All right, that's it for today. See you next time.